Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into Secrets of the Millionaire Mind
Yeah,
today.
this is a good one.
Yeah,
It's a classic.
yeah,
It's a classic for a reason. Um, really dives into like the psychology of wealth. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like what sets apart people who
yeah.
are financially successful.
It's not about those
Right.
get rich quick schemes, is it? It's more about
Well,
how to think long term, how to rewire your thinking.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eker, he introduces this concept of what he calls a money blueprint, right?
Oh, okay.
And it's essentially like the subconscious programming
Okay.
that influences how we handle money.
Interesting. So that means our experiences with money
Absolutely.
early on in life really impact us later on.
100%. Like things, what we hear about money growing up,
Right.
observing how our parents handle their finances.
Yeah. Oh, makes sense.
Even like specific emotional events that are tied to money, you know?
So if you grow up hearing money doesn't grow on trees, you might
Exactly.
subconsciously limit your earning potential.
That's the idea. Like
Yeah.
you're programmed for a certain financial reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the audiobook actually has a really good story about this guy named Stefan.
Okay.
And he was earning, good money,
Okay.
but he could never seem to hold on to it.
Okay.
And it turns out like his mom, constantly told him growing up
Yeah.
that rich people are greedy.
Wow.
And so he had this ingrained belief
Yeah.
that led him to basically sabotage his own success
Interesting.
until he recognized it.
It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy playing out
Totally.
in your bank account.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's amazing how
Yeah.
these subconscious beliefs, that we pick up
Yeah.
really hold us back and we don't even realize it.
Are there other examples like that in the audiobook?
Oh yeah. Tons. There's one about a man who inherited this tendency from his father
Okay.
of having these extreme
Wow.
financial highs and lows,
Like a roller coaster.
like a total roller coaster. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Booms and busts.
Oh, wow.
And he couldn't break free from that pattern
Yeah.
until he realized he was like subconsciously mirroring his dad's behavior.
It's amazing how these patterns can stick with us, for years.
It is.
It's crazy. Is there anything else like that?
Oh, yeah. The book also mentions a woman, Natalie.
Okay.
Her spending habits were like a direct reaction to her parents'
Okay.
excessive frugality.
Okay.
So she had to really address those ingrained
Right.
emotional patterns
Yeah, yeah.
before she could find balance in her own finances.
So recognizing these deeply embedded patterns is kind of the first step.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And this kind of brings up an important question, like, what are some of the messages
Yeah.
you absorbed about money
Yeah.
growing up? Take a moment to reflect on that.
Yeah.
It might give you some insight into your own.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think many of us
Yeah.
carry those messages without even realizing it, you
Yeah.
know. But the good news is
Yes.
if we can become aware of these blueprints,
Yeah,
we can actually change them.
absolutely. That's what's so powerful about this work. It dives into what Eker calls the wealth files. 17 ways that rich people think and act differently
Okay.
from those who are, struggling financially.
Oh, okay.
And these files, they offer like a roadmap.
That sounds really helpful.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of one
Sure.
of these wealth files that really stood out to you?
Well, one that comes to mind is rich people believe, I create my own success, right?
Right.
Whereas, those who struggle financially
Yeah.
often believe that circumstances
Yeah.
or other people determine their success,
Yeah. Right.
like a
Okay.
fundamental
Yeah.
difference in perspective.
That makes sense.
It's like
Yeah.
taking ownership
Right. Yeah.
versus feeling like a victim.
If you're always blaming external factors, you're giving away your power.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And that sense of ownership is
Yeah.
critical
Yeah.
for building wealth.
Right.
And the book really emphasizes that, rich people, they play the money game to win.
Okay.
Whereas, those less financially successful
Yeah.
often play not to lose.
So it's about being bold, taking risks, not letting fear hold you back.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that ties into another key wealth file
Mhm.
is the idea that rich people, they're bigger than their problems.
Okay.
They see a problem.
Right.
They figure out a way to overcome it.
Yeah.
Whereas, those struggling financially often feel smaller
Right.
than their problems.
It's like Stefan and the limiting belief he was carrying.
Right.
He had to become bigger than that, right? Step into his power.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
about cultivating resilience,
Yeah.
and that solutions-oriented mindset. So it's not, looking at a challenge as a roadblock. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, how can I get past this? How can I learn and grow from this?
I'm starting to see how this shift from like a scarcity mindset to one of abundance
Absolutely.
is so crucial.
It is.
It's not just about managing money, it's about like
Right?
managing our minds.
It's about, the audiobook emphasizes becoming rich starts with
Yeah.
developing a millionaire mind,
Wow.
And it's about changing your inner world to change your outer world.
And that leads to another interesting wealth file, right?
Yeah.
About being a good receiver.
You got it. Yeah. Rich people are excellent receivers,
Okay.
whereas those less financially successful often struggle.
What does that mean exactly?
It means being open to receiving abundance, right?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
all its forms. So that's money, opportunities, even compliments,
Yeah.
It's about recognizing your worth, believing you deserve to receive good things.
I think a lot of people have blocks around that,
Yeah.
like low self-worth, maybe a fear of being judged or
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
feeling like they don't deserve it,
100%. And that can hold you back
Yeah.
financially,
Yeah.
The book stresses,
Yeah.
you can't build wealth if you're constantly blocking the flow of abundance.
Right. Right. So you have to be open
Yeah.
to receiving.
That's it. That's a powerful point.
So we've talked about taking ownership, being bigger than our problems, being open to receiving. What other wealth files really stood out to you?
Another one that comes to mind is how, rich people
Yeah.
choose to get paid based on results,
Okay.
while those who struggle financially often choose to get paid
Yeah.
based on their time.
Right. Right.
So it's a fundamental
Yeah.
shift in thinking,
Yeah.
about how you create value
Yeah.
and generate income.
So moving away from like trading hours for dollars and more towards like
Is absolutely.
creating something that generates income regardless.
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
It's about finding ways to leverage your skills and your knowledge,
Right.
to create multiple streams of income.
Yeah. This is making me think about all those, side hustles and
Yes.
entrepreneurial ventures that are gaining popularity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about like creating value and getting compensated for that.
That's a great connection. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it highlights a key principle in the book is that, rich people,
Yeah.
they focus on their net worth, while those less financially successful often focus on their working income.
Can you explain the difference between like net worth and working income? I
Right.
think that might be confusing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Very
for some listeners.
Yeah. Working income is simply the money you earn from your job.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Net worth is the total value of your assets
Okay.
minus your liabilities.
So like assets are things you own. Like
Yeah, things you own that have value, right?
yeah, like a house or investment.
Correct. A house, investments,
Okay. And
um,
liabilities are things you owe.
yeah, things you owe, like loans, credit card debt,
Okay.
things
Yeah.
like that.
Gotcha.
So, focusing on building your net worth
Mhm.
means acquiring assets that appreciate in value
Okay. Yeah.
and generating passive income streams
Okay. So
Right.
so income you earn without actually
without actively working for it.
working. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just about like earning a high salary. It's about
It's like creating a financial system that works for you,
Totally.
even when you're not actively working.
Yeah. It's about building wealth that grows over time
Right,
rather than just,
Yeah.
trading your time for money.
right. And that brings us to another crucial point. Rich people are excellent money managers,
Absolutely.
whereas those less financially successful
Yeah.
often struggle with it.
Yeah. And it's not just about how much you earn. It's about what you do with the money
Right.
that you have.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how much money you have currently.
Okay.
Even small amounts can be managed effectively
Yeah.
to create a foundation
Right.
for future wealth.
Yeah.
And the book actually offers practical tips
Okay.
on setting up a system
Okay.
to manage your money.
That sounds really helpful. I'm starting to see how all these wealth files are like
They are.
interconnected.
They are. It's not just about isolated habits. It's
Yeah.
about
Cultivating a whole new way of
yeah.
thinking and being in the
And
world.
this is so eye-opening. It's making me think about like
Yeah,
my own financial habits and beliefs, and
yeah,
how I can like apply these principles
exactly.
to my
That's the
life.
power of knowledge, right?
Right, right. So the takeaway here is that like building a millionaire mind is
Yeah.
like a journey.
It is a journey. It's a journey of self-discovery
Yeah.
and growth, not a destination.
Right, right.
It's ongoing.
Right, right.
And that journey starts
Yeah.
with understanding these wealth files and how they can
Yeah.
transform
Yeah.
your relationship with money. Now, we'll dive into more of these files in the next part.
Okay.
But before we do that,
Yeah.
I want to highlight a really interesting anecdote
Mhm.
from the book that
Oh.
illustrates this concept
Yeah.
of developing a millionaire mind.
Yeah. I'm all ears. Let's hear it. Like
Yeah.
it really shows how our mindset can shape our financial reality.
100%.
It's inspiring. You see how someone can go from like feeling stuck to achieving financial abundance
Totally.
just by shifting their perspective.
Yeah, and that's what's so empowering about understanding these wealth files.
Yeah.
It gives us like a framework for changing our thinking.
Speaking of those wealth files,
Yeah.
we were talking about how rich people manage their money well,
Right.
while those less financially successful often struggle with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you share some practical tips from the book on how to become a better money manager?
Absolutely. One thing the book recommends is setting up a system
Okay.
with separate accounts for different financial goals.
Oh, okay.
So think of that like giving each dollar a specific job to do.
Interesting. What kind of accounts does the book suggest?
Well, it recommends having an account for your financial freedom fund.
Yeah.
So that's money you're investing to build long-term wealth
Yeah.
and eventually live off the returns.
So that's where like, investments like stocks, bonds, or real estate would go.
Exactly. Yep, yep.
Okay.
Then you'd have an account for long-term savings.
Okay.
Things like a down payment on a house or your children's education.
Okay.
And then, of course, an account for your everyday expenses.
Right.
Things like rent, groceries, utilities.
So we're basically like dividing our money into these
Yeah.
different buckets.
Exactly.
Based on its purpose.
Yep, yep.
Is there anything else the book recommends?
Yes. It also suggests having an account specifically for education.
Okay.
So investing in your
Oh, that's a great idea.
personal and professional growth.
It reminds us that like investing in ourselves is just as important as,
Totally.
Investing in our financial future.
100%.
Yeah, we got to keep learning and growing.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
There's one more account that might surprise you.
Uh,
An account just for fun?
A fun account.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So it might seem counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, a little bit. When we're talking about like building wealth.
Right. But the book argues that depriving yourself entirely
Okay.
can actually backfire.
Okay.
Yeah, it can lead to feelings of guilt, resentment,
Right.
and ultimately you might end up
Yeah.
overspending later on.
Yeah.
So having a dedicated fun account allows you to
Okay.
enjoy life guilt-free
Right.
while still staying on track with your financial goals.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about like finding that balance, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Between enjoying life now and
Yeah.
building a secure future.
100%.
It's like a built-in reward system.
Yeah. It
Just
is.
for being financially disciplined. Do you have any like personal tips for making this work?
One thing I found helpful is automating my savings.
Okay.
So I set up automatic transfers from my checking account to my
Yeah.
different savings accounts each month.
Okay.
That way I don't even have to think about it.
That sounds like a great way to take the emotion out of it.
Totally
Just
does,
make
yeah.
it happen.
Yeah, it just happens.
What are some other things we can do to start, putting these wealth files into practice?
Well, the book really emphasizes taking action
Okay.
in spite of fear.
Okay.
So what's one step you can take today to move towards your financial goals,
Okay.
even if it feels a little scary?
That's a great question. I think for me it's about like asking for what I'm worth.
Oh, okay.
Like negotiating a raise or
Right,
or exploring new career opportunities
right.
can feel really intimidating.
That's a common fear,
Yeah.
but it's so important
Yeah.
to overcome it. And remember, if you don't ask,
Yeah.
the answer is always no.
That's true. It's true.
And the book reminds us, rich people are willing to promote themselves and their value,
Right.
whereas those less financially successful
Yeah.
often kind of shy away from self-promotion.
It's true.